but then that will be towards the last part of my topic. The initial part I will be discussing on from a very social and cultural perspective of what we understand to be shame. My basic part, the basic idea of my topic will be emphasizing on shame. Now, before I go on to the dialectics of what shame is or how do we define shame, I would like to talk about a very common situation as women, as girls. I presume there are students, girl students out here who are listening. Uh, as girls, or when we are, or as women, when we are in any type of public place, especially a public transport, we are very conscious about how we look. I'm not talking about from a fashionable point of view, but more importantly, we are always conscious about, if we are wearing any kind of clothes, like say, we will be very conscious whether the dupatta is covering our breast, or if you are wearing a mekhla chadar or a sari, we are conscious about if our midriff is visible to people, or if somewhere something is visible to people. Whereas uh, the irony of the situation is that we are fully clothed. Despite being fully clothed, we are very conscious that if some part of our body is exposed to somebody, and if some part of our body is exposed to somebody, what that entails, what it means that if some part of our body is exposed to if some part of our body is exposed to somebody who is seeing us. Now, when I say some part of the body, we have to understand that differing from culture to culture, differing from country to country, what is acceptable also keeps on differing. Like suppose, in India or this part of the world, we are more or less comfortable with, public. So, and that probably that person is somebody I know. So, in general, what happens is that the person, if that person sees me seeing them, shame will arise in them, they will be embarrassed, but at the same time, very often we are also embarrassed of what we have seen. But in general, when it is associated with the female body, and especially with relation to the male gaze, okay, the problem arises is that the male, as I said, if I see somebody kissing somebody whom I know on the street, and I will also feel ashamed of it. But in general, in public, and when I'm talking about in a very generalized concept, if it is the female body which is being gazed at by whom? By the male, shame is only on the part of the woman. Shame is not on the part of the man. And etymologically, shame is connected with nakedness. You see something with your eyes, something which should not have been seen. You see something with your eyes, and by seeing it, you are ashamed of it. Okay? By seeing something, the somebody who has been seen is ashamed of it. Now, what are we being ashamed of? As I said, even if we are fully clothed, sometimes we are ashamed that somebody is looking at me. Inappropriate glance, a gaze which is inappropriate, which somehow makes me feel naked, even when I am fully clothed in public, in a public place. Sometimes when men stare at women, you feel like as if mentally they are undressing the woman. In their own mind, they are undressing the woman. And even if you are fully clothed, you feel that as if you are naked in a public space. So the visual factor, it is very much a visual factor. The visual factor is associated with shame, and who sees and who is seen. Okay, who sees and who is seen. Who sees? The male, or the society sees, and who is seen? The female body is seen. So the female body is grotesque, not only grotesque, but it is also a site of shame, as her nudity. Nudity does not necessarily mean, I'm not saying nudity in the quote unquote literal sense of the term. I'll go into the literal sense of the term a little later on. But here I'm saying that even if she is fully clothed, this male gaze, which makes her feel nude, will eventually lead to humiliation and even some sort of sexual attack also, because very often, you know this is again a, I'm generalizing. I'm not saying that this is true in particular context, but I'm generalizing in from the point of view that when a woman is raped, when a girl is raped, okay, very often as a society, we try to find a reason why she has been raped. So some of the reasons that we give: she has been out late, you know, she did not get home on time, and one of the biggest, say, reasons that we give is that she has been wearing inappropriate clothes. And because she has been wearing inappropriate clothes, she asked for it. This is the general terminology that we keep on using. She asked for it. Okay, what when a woman is wearing any kind of quote unquote revealing clothes, the general idea is that she asks for it. Why does she want to reveal her body? Okay, why does she want to reveal her body? Why does she want to what is she trying to do? Whom is she trying to please through revealing her body? Okay, so general, even if a woman is fully naked, she needs to be, she is ashamed of it. And so this conditioning of the female body is a double bind. She is, when she is nude, when she is naked, it radiates shame. And when she needs to cover it, it is also because of her shame. She is ashamed. She is naked and therefore she is ashamed. And she is ashamed, so she needs to cover her body, whose values run counter to those prevailing in the culture, or can also serve as a means of shaming those who look, unquote. Okay, so this is very important. Shaming, nudity, or nakedness can be seen as a means of resistance. Okay, how? But as a means to shame those who look. I am completely naked, but my nakedness is not arising shame or feeling of weakness or powerlessness within me. You who are looking at me should be ashamed of it. How? I'll say a little bit later on. So says that it is a means through which it is a resistance of culturally determined understandings of the body. Okay. So how she says, so in the course of her essay, Vishnu says that Draupadi in Mahabharata, she refuses to wash or tie her hair after her humiliation in the court, because it was an attempt to strip her naked in the court. And so, she, in a sense of protest, she intends to display her condition in its violated form. This, though of course she, there is a divine intervention, she has not been raped, or she has not been stripped naked in public in the court. Despite that, she has been humiliated in court, and she says that she is not going to wash or tie her hair, because she wants to keep display her condition in its violated form, so that she can make the men, not necessarily Dushashan or not necessarily Duryodhan or people from the Kauravas, but even from her own family, from the Pandavas, being ashamed of the fact that she has been violated. Okay, so she vows that she will wash or comb her hair with Duryodhan's blood. Of course, this instance of her avengement, the fact that she is able to avenge her humiliation, takes place after a long period of time. And during this period of time, in the intermediate years, she resides in a state of disablement. She does not tie or wash her hair. Okay, so having been exposed in the court, okay, having been exposed, her body having been exposed in the court, she displays her violated condition. She keeps on displaying her violated condition in order to emphasize the fact that, look what you have done to me. So she does not want to cover herself up. So she does not want to tie her hair, because the session, caught hold of her hair, and brought her, dragged her into the court. So she does not, because it has been touched by another male. So she wants to show that this is her violated condition. Okay, this is my violated condition, and I'm not ashamed of my violated condition. Why should I be ashamed of my violated condition? Why should I be ashamed of my nakedness? This is not something that has been brought on me by myself. It is something that you have brought on me. And by looking at my nakedness, you should be actually shown as the result of her own, uh, say, own doing, her result of her own actions. She has asked for it. As simple as that, she has asked for it. And that is why, the remember the Nirbhaya incident. After the Nirbhaya incident, when um, you know there was a huge, hue and cry. Students from Delhi University came out and protested on the street, and the Delhi police said that we cannot protect you. You have to go inside the hostel at your appointed point of time. Otherwise, we cannot protect you. It is not possible on our part to protect you. And if you remember if you remember the lawyer who was associated with the defense lawyer of the rapist, he again and again kept on saying, you know why was she out at 9 o'clock in the night on a winter evening? I think, coincidentally, I'm not very sure if today is the date. I'm not very sure. Today is 2016, if it is December 16 or not, but somewhere in December. I'm not very sure about the date, December 12 or 16, somewhere around this point of time. Yes, it was December 16, I think so. So, how many years? 8 7 8 years, I think so. So she was asked that the lawyer was again and again telling that why was she out at this point of time in night, and in a sense she asked for it. Okay, you are out at this point of time. You have been asking for it. And the Delhi University girls, so, who protested against it. I remember there was a placard where one girl was saying that, don't ask us to let, not to shorten our skirts. Ask your sons to avert their gaze, or something of this sort, to that effect. Okay, so this again is, somehow this idea rounds up with what I have been trying to say here, that the onus of shame has been laid on the feet of women. But then, through stories like Mahashweta Devi's Draupadi, or Akka Mahadevi, it is being shown that the problem of shame is not with women, but the problem of female nudity or female dressing, whatever, nakedness of the female body, or in general the concept of the female body, it lies squarely on the feet of societal gaze. And it is because of the societal gaze that women feel inhabited, albeit in very different circumstances. Or everybody's experience is different, but albeit in different circumstances, it is the shame that emanates within us. It arises from the male gaze. And thank you so much for your patient hearing. I hope I have been able to make you understand, or put across the board what I've been trying to say. And if there are any queries, any questions, I'll be glad to take them. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, I just want to ask, why is exposing the world to non-sexualized female nudity is important?
See, there's a problem, as I said at the very end also. uh, Feminists actually do not believe that there is any kind of non-sexualized nudity. Okay, feminists believe that, any kind of gaze, even if the woman is nude, or even if the woman is clothed also. Okay, and to a very large extent, there is true. There is criticism of this point of view also, but we are not going into that now. That will require much more a deeper understanding of what the feminist is trying to say. But we are not going into that. But non-sexualized nudity. So non-sexualized nudity is what? Non-sexualized nudity is the example that I gave earlier of Max Keller, where Max Keller says that the woman is nude, but then the artist is looking at her not from a sexual point of view, but rather from an asexual point of view, as a woman. Not sorry, not as a woman. She's being looked at as an artist, and that is why this is a non-sexual nudity. This is non-sexual nudity, and it is important that if there is nudity, especially in general, women will not go about nude in society, or not go about naked in society. But then, even as I said earlier, also, even if we are fully clothed, also, we are made to feel as if we are nude in society. So it is, this. Uh, looking at women as a sexual object. It is very important that this asexualization happens, especially uh, in public places, in public transport. Otherwise, women will be constantly targeted. But that is again a very very tall task. It's not going to be happen. Not going to happen in one day or two. In fact, the society, the conditions are deteriorating rather than moving forward in a positive manner. But then non-sexualized way of looking at a female nude is something that can happen only in artistic concept to an extent, but otherwise it is important that we look at it in this way, but it's not something that is going to happen easily. And as feminists have already stated, no gaze is asexual. All gaze has got meaning, and especially the male gaze has got a sexual meaning associated with it.
We will connect soon. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much, the Najari team, also for inviting me to this lecture. And I also hope that I can meet again in the future.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank